Lost Spring is a compilation of two short stories written by Indian writer and journalist Anees Yoon, who is a strong feminist writer. This chapter shows the plight of street children who are forced into child labor and denied the opportunity of schooling. Let's talk about the relevance of title. Here, spring is a symbol or a metaphor. A symbol is an object that stands for itself and for something that it represents. For example, rose represents love and beauty. Similarly, sunrise represents a new beginning. Here, lost spring is the lost childhood of the two characters of the story, Sahib and Mukesh, who belong to poor socio-economic section of society. They don't have access to education. Thus, the story deals with the condition of children who get forced to miss a normal, happy childhood and don't get the opportunity to go to school. Child labor has been pointed out as a social evil. Lost Spring has two short stories. Number 1, Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Number 2, I want to drive a car someday. Now, both the stories are first-hand experiences of the suffering characters Sahib and Mukesh, respectively. We will start with the first story now. As the story starts, a boy named Sahib is looking for something valuable in a garbage dump. Gold is here symbolic of anything valuable, like a coin. He wants to go to school, but there is no school in his neighborhood. Here we see that he lacks access to education. The writer asks Sahib that if she will build a school, is he going to come? But of course, it is a false promise which is done to poor people in all the corners of the world. Now, Sahib's name, it means Lord of Universe. Ironically, it is quite opposite to what he does because all he does is rag picking, and then his name is Lord of Universe, or his name means Lord of Universe. This part of the story shows the economic gap in our society, where these rag pickers don't even have access to footwear. Most of them have never had a pair of shoes to wear in their entire life. Here, wearing shoes has been linked to being from a high socio-economic status. Boys such as son of priests belonging to upper strata of society, they could afford education, they could afford to have shoes, but children like Sahib, who were rag pickers, who belonged to lower socio-economic strata, they could not afford such things. Now, this part of the text, it talks about a place called Sima Puri. Now, Sima Puri is a place on outskirts of Delhi. Here, the slum dwellers, they live in miserable condition with no sanitation or healthcare facilities. Children of people living in Sima Puri, what are they doing? Instead of getting education, they are also involved in rag picking from a very young age. So here, this is the place where child labor is originating, and children, instead of going to school, instead of having access to education, they are forced to do child labor because they have no other option. These people living in Sima Puri, these people are migrants from Dhaka, Bangladesh. They originally lived in Bangladesh, but because they could not cultivate crops there, they had to leave their beautiful native place. They compromised with their identity Earlier they were farmers or crop growers, but then they moved here because of poverty they could not grow crops there, or perhaps the land stopped yielding crops, and now they are left only with one option, that is picking rags. Therefore they have to compromise with their dignity and their identity, their sense of belongingness. They have to leave their native place and settle down illegally in Sima Puri. Garbage has different connotations for children and for adults. For adults, it is something on which they rely for their survival. But for children like Sahib, who still have innocence left in them, garbage is a hope where they can fulfill their sense of achievement. Sahib cannot play tennis. He can only watch people playing. Again, because he has no access to the world of rich people. Sahib is wearing the discarded shoes of a rich boy, and even these shoes with holes in them is a dream come true for him. As the story ends, Sahib is seen to have left picking garbage, but that does not mean his condition has improved. Now he is working as a child labor at a nearby tea shop. The canister that he is carrying symbolizes the burden of life on the shoulder of a child labor. Sahib's face has now lost the carefree look, and he is no longer his own master because now he is working as a laborer at a tea stall. Now it is time for recapitulation. Who is Sahib? What does he do? Sahib is a boy who does the work of rag picking. Question number 2. Why has the word gold been used? Now gold here is metaphoric. It is a symbol. It means anything that is valuable, anything that will help the rag pickers in their survival, whether it is a rupee note or a silver coin or any object that is valuable to them. Question number 3. What themes are explored through this short story? Now a number of themes have been explored. Main theme is child labor and lack of education. Several sub-themes that are there is the socio-economic gap, child psychology of child laborers, and lack of identity among these rag pickers. Fourth question, describe the condition of Sima Puri. Sima Puri is a place on the outskirts of Delhi where these rag pickers, they live in very unhygienic conditions. They do not have any healthcare or sanitation facilities. They are living a miserable life there. Question number 5. Why isn't Sahib able to get education? Now, Sahib wants to go to school as we saw in the story, but there is no school available. He does not have access to education. Therefore, lack of educational institution and lack of awareness also we can say. These are the two factors because why Sahib is not able to get education. What job Sahib ends up doing? Earlier, Sahib was doing rag picking. Now, towards the end of the story, we see that he ends up becoming a child laborer at a nearby tea stall.